All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yet another victory, 23-19 this afternoon against my Green Bay Packers, which puts the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting here at 6-3. Once again, they were out-yarded, if that's even a word, but it simply does not matter because, folks, this isn't college football. This isn't the NCAA. This is the National Football League, which means a win is a win and context does not matter. And I will say this, Kenny Pickett is injured, and rush game, I'm loving it. Defense, I am absolutely loving it. And like I said, this is a long season, man. You play 17 games. I don't need all 17 games to be pretty. I don't need them all to be sexy. I don't need victory blowouts. And keep in mind, man, this is coming from a cheesehead here. Thank you for ending our season. Not necessarily ending our season, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to just get a good draft pick here. I'm very glad the Pittsburgh Steelers won this football game this afternoon. I have to say, man, I know not everybody, in fact, most people don't like Matt Canada. I gotta say, I love Matt Canada being down there on the sidelines. I absolutely love it. Now, people like to nitpick teams for winning football games ugly. That doesn't make sense in and of itself because great football teams win ugly. But I always find it funny when people say, oh, they're just not winning good enough. They're not winning good enough. I was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Green Bay Packers Super Bowl earlier this morning, and it had me thinking to myself, at no point, I was a little young. I was like, maybe 12 or 13 years old when the Packers won that Super Bowl. I never remember thinking to myself like, oh man, we're not blowing out opponents. I don't think we can win the Super Bowl because we're not blowing out opponents. I think that's a new era trend, and we're going to talk everything about the Pittsburgh Steelers in today's video. But before we do, guys, if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Steelers fans, if you get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So yeah, Kenny Pickett in the offense was relatively lackluster, or I should say the passing offense was relatively lackluster. We got to keep in mind this dude's banged up. He took that crazy hit against the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple of weeks ago, and he was essentially just a great game manager today. Not taking deep shots, taking what he sees. I still loved his agility. He got a huge 11-yard first down as the time was winding down. But Kenny Pickett ended the day 14 of 23, 126 yards, 0 touchdowns, and more importantly, 0 interceptions. It's not always going to be pretty, folks. But here is what I absolutely loved about the Pittsburgh Steelers, not only today, but in their last victory over the Tennessee Titans. It's the rush attack. When I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think to myself, defense and run game. Of course, I think about my man Big Ben, but here's the thing. I love smash mouth football, and I think especially when you get down to the playoffs, but more importantly, when you have two versatile playmakers, two running backs who perfectly complement each other, guys like Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. This is something we talked about all offseason, or I talked about all offseason. I think it's one of the best 1-2 punch duos in the entire National Football League as far as the running back position goes. But up until recently, like the last 4 or so games, it looked like Najee Harris had maybe an undisclosed injury. We didn't see too much of Jaylen Warren. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense in general was just not getting the ball down the field. They weren't getting first downs. They weren't putting up points on the board. They just weren't doing much. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I have Jaylen Warren, who averaged 4.9 yards per carry last season, and I have Najee Harris, who is healthy. Why is the rush game bottom 5 in the National Football League? So in the last 2 weeks specifically, we've really seen that change. And today, guys, we saw over 200 rushing yards by the Pittsburgh Steelers. As every Steelers fan knows, and as every OG football fan knows, once it's November 12th. I live down here in Southwest Florida, but I know I'm from Chicago. I know how cold it gets here in the winters. When you get into playoff football and we're trying to get better seeds and all that fun stuff, the run game matters a lot. It's nice to have Patrick Mahomes. It's nice to have Joe Burrow or whoever, but that rush game is a make or break position. Jaylen Warren today, 15 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown, averaged 6.7 yards per rush. Najee Harris follows it up with 16 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers this afternoon ran for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. They averaged almost 6 yards per rush. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I know I'm a Packers fan, so I'm a little bit biased, and I don't think our defensive statistics will back it, but I think we're a pretty solid defense. So that's impressive no matter who you play, when you play them, whatever. Now, George Pickens, 3 catches, 45 yards. Cam Hayward, 3 catches, 32 yards. Only 1 catch for 17 yards from Deontay Johnson. We still need to see that passing attack go. This was yet another game. The Pittsburgh Steelers have now played 9 games where they have been out-yardaged, however you would say that term, and they've won 6 of them. I mean, it's just extremely impressive. This team knows how to win. They know how to win ugly, and when you start playing teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, statistics go out of the door. You throw them out of the window. You don't even think twice about it, and that's what gets me going so much. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to have a Patrick Mahomes, but I think Kenny Pickett's a fully capable, fully competent quarterback to make a little bit of a playoff run. At the end of the day, man, this defense is so freaking legit. They are just so good. I love especially, like I said, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and I would have loved to put up more than 19 points because I felt like Jordan Love was moving the ball down the field quite nicely, but especially when it gets into the red zone, once teams get into opponents' territory against the Pittsburgh defense, these guys just make plays. I mean, they just make plays. And I know the year is 2023 and we're talking high scoring electric offenses. But at the end of the day, man, I still believe that defenses win you championships. I'm not saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. But what I am saying is this is a 6-3 team that is almost as disrespected as they come, just simply put because of their quote unquote lackluster offense. But here's the thing. And like I said, I alluded to this earlier on in the video. My Packers Super Bowl run, I remember even watching a Chiefs game against the Broncos last season. A win is a win. A win is a win, man. I guarantee you, if the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles had played this game 23-19, nobody would be thinking to themselves, oh, they're no longer a Super Bowl caliber team. They're no longer a good team because they only took down the Green Bay Packers by 4 points, and they haven't had a game over 400 yards since the year 2020. And yeah, it's 2023. That is not a great statistic. You guys get my point. Highsmith, Watt, Joey Porter Jr. I mean, these guys are just simply making plays no matter their age, no matter their experience, or whatever you want to say. The Pittsburgh Steelers just keep on winning football games. This is a double-digit win team here. I don't care about the division. I don't care about the conference. I don't even care about the playoffs because we're taking it week by week. And especially when I look at the run game with Matt Canada in the last 2 weeks, I absolutely love it. So, guys, that's it for today, man. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. But more importantly, Steelers fans, NFL fans, give me your thoughts on this game down below. Peace.